No one saw this coming. In a land ruled by fear, where oppression suffocated the people, and where women had no voice, one person dared to challenge everything. No sword, no army, no crown, only faith and courage. Deborah was not a warrior. She was not a queen. But while everyone else bowed before the enemy, she stood up. When no one believed in victory, she prophesied the impossible. And what seemed like madness became reality. Israel was set free under her leadership. But how did this happen? What made Deborah overcome all obstacles and become the most unlikely leader in history? And more importantly, how can you apply this same strategy in your own life to overcome any challenge? Today, we're going to reveal the 4 steps that made Deborah one of the most powerful figures in the Bible. And the 3rd step will surprise you, because almost no one talks about it. So go ahead and hit the like button now and subscribe to the channel, because this story might just change the way you see success. She was not a warrior. She had no throne. She commanded no armies. And yet, she was chosen to lead an entire nation. Deborah lived in dark times. Israel was in chaos, oppressed by a ruthless enemy. For 20 years, the Canaanites ruled over the people, spreading fear and destruction. The warriors were defeated, the leaders were silent, and no one seemed capable of changing that reality. And then, Deborah appeared. She was not an ordinary woman. While many hid, she stood up. While others hesitated, she listened to the voice of God and stepped into a role no one could have imagined. But here's the big question. What made Deborah different? What set this woman apart from everyone else around her? What gave her the strength to break barriers and change the course of history? There is a hidden principle in her journey, a secret buried in the pages of the Bible that few people ever notice. And this principle could be the key to breaking through the limitations that have been holding you back. And here's something you may have never heard before. If Deborah had hesitated, if she had waited for the perfect conditions, history would have been completely different. So what was the secret that made her such a powerful leader? What allowed her to rise from obscurity and become a symbol of strength and courage? Stay with me until the end of this video, because this revelation might be exactly what you need to take the next big step in your life. For 20 years, the people of Israel lived in terror. King Jabin, with his cruel army led by Sisera, ruled with an iron fist. Enemy soldiers patrolled the cities, looting, oppressing, and spreading fear. No one dared to fight back. Silence reigned. Despair spread. Israelite warriors seemed defeated before they even fought. There were no leaders, no strategies, no hope. But while everyone else only saw oppression, Deborah saw something different. She was already a judge, a counselor respected by the people. Everyone came to her for guidance, but her vision went beyond small disputes and daily problems. She saw a future where Israel was no longer under Jabin's control. And here it is, the first of the 4 steps that transformed Deborah into a symbol of empowerment and leadership. The power of vision. Before any battle was fought, Deborah saw victory. Before a single soldier marched, she believed in the impossible. She refused to be paralyzed by the reality of the moment. She saw what could be and made decisions based on that vision, not on fear. Now, think about this for a moment. How many times have you felt trapped by your circumstances? Maybe your reality today feels impossible to overcome. Maybe you look around and all you see are difficulties, obstacles, and closed doors. But here's the crucial question. Are you making decisions based on fear or based on the vision of the future you want to create? Deborah chose vision, and that choice changed the history of Israel forever. How many times have you looked at a challenge and thought, "This is too big for me. I can't do it"? How many opportunities have you let slip away because you believe in your fears more than in your own potential? Deborah could have thought the same way. She could have looked at Jabin's cruel army and Sisera's iron chariots and said, "It's impossible." She could have hidden, waited for someone else to take the initiative, but she didn't. Instead of retreating, she spoke. And here lies the second essential step to Deborah's empowerment: the power of words. She called Barak, the commander of Israel's armies, and declared with authority, "The Lord will deliver Sisera into your hands." She wasn't just repeating empty phrases or trying to motivate him with pretty words. She was declaring a reality before it even existed. And here is one of the most powerful secrets in the Bible. Your words shape your reality. Think about that for a moment. What have you been speaking over your life? Over your future? Are you declaring words of strength, faith, and victory? Or are you just repeating your doubts and fears? The way you speak about yourself might be determining the path you are walking on. If Deborah had stayed silent, Israel would have remained oppressed. But she spoke, and that moved armies, broke chains, and changed the destiny of an entire nation. Now look at your own life. Are you using your words to build the future you desire? Or have you allowed words of defeat and discouragement to limit your potential? Write in the comments. What is the word you will start declaring over your life today? I want to know what you choose to speak over your own future. And if this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this today. Together, we can transform lives. Deborah didn't just have a clear vision. She didn't just speak words of faith. She took action. She called Barak, delivered God's command to him, and she didn't stay behind. She wasn't just a leader of words. She was a leader of action. When the day of battle arrived, Deborah didn't stay in a safe place, watching from afar. She went down to the battlefield alongside the Israelite warriors. And here's the third great principle that made Deborah triumph: the power of action. It's not enough to just believe. It's not enough to just declare victory. If you don't take action, nothing will happen. How many times have you had an incredible idea, but never acted on it? How many promises have you made to yourself, but never put them into practice? Faith without action is like a seed that is never planted. You can have the best seeds in the world, but if you don't put them in the ground, you will never see the harvest. Deborah understood this. She didn't just motivate the soldiers. She led them to the front lines. And then, something extraordinary happened. As soon as Barak and the warriors attacked, the enemy collapsed. Sisera, the great commander of the Canaanite army, panicked. The war chariots that once terrified Israel were dragged into the mud, completely disabled. Jabin's warriors were utterly destroyed. The battle was won, but the story doesn't end there. Because victory didn't come instantly, the Israelite army had to fight until the very end. And that brings us to the final and most powerful principle of Deborah's empowerment: the power of perseverance. If Deborah had given up halfway, if she had doubted at the last moment, if she had quit when things got hard, none of this would have happened. How many times have you started something and stopped halfway? How many times have you given up because the results didn't come when you expected them? The truth is, many people quit just before victory arrives. But Deborah teaches us that we must push forward until the very end, even when it seems impossible. Now, think about this. Are you giving up too soon? Or are you willing to persevere until you see your victory? Few people truly grasp the magnitude of what Deborah accomplished. She wasn't just a leader. She was the only woman in the Bible to simultaneously hold three powerful roles: prophetess, judge, and military leader. This had never happened before, and it never happened again. She shattered every barrier. She defied expectations. And more than that, her leadership brought 40 years of peace to Israel. Think about that for a moment. 4 decades without oppression. 4 decades where an entire nation could live freely, without fear, all because of one decision. And this teaches us something powerful. Your choices today don't affect only you. What you do now can transform your life, the lives of your family, and even generations yet to come. Deborah wasn't the only person in the Bible who faced the impossible and won against all odds. Other figures in moments of despair also rose up, made bold decisions, and left an eternal legacy. And if you want to discover these stories of faith and perseverance, subscribe now to the channel. Here, you'll learn how biblical principles can transform your life and lead you closer to your purpose. True empowerment doesn't come from the outside. It doesn't depend on circumstances, on what people say about you, or on the limitations the world tries to impose. True power comes from within. Deborah proved this beyond any doubt. She had vision. Before victory was even possible, she could already see the future God had promised. She declared words of faith. Instead of surrendering to fear, she proclaimed victory before a single battle had been fought. She took action. She didn't wait for perfect conditions. She didn't hesitate. She stood up and led. And above all, she persevered. She didn't stop halfway. She didn't give up when things got hard. She went all the way to the end. Now look at your own life. Which of these 4 steps do you need to apply more intensely? Are you lacking vision? Maybe you need to start speaking words that build your reality. Or maybe it's time to act, to move forward. Or perhaps, what's missing for you is perseverance. Write in the comments which of these steps resonated most with you. I want to know what your next move will be to transform your life. And here's a warning. Don't stop here. The Bible is full of stories of people who defied the impossible and won against all odds. And if you want to learn more secrets of growth and transformation, subscribe now to the channel. Turn on notifications, because the next videos will open your eyes to truths that can change the course of your life. And if you know someone who needs this message, share this video. Now, click on the next video and continue this journey of learning and faith. I'll see you there.